But just this once.
Yeah.
Just this once. Uh, yeah, I love when they do that in like court documentaries. They're like, "I'll allow it, but you watch yourself.
Yeah.
You."
You're dangerously close, counselor.
It's like that. That's not how the law works at all.
You're on very thin ice right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Your Honor, the defendant is a duty head. Like, objection, I'll allow it. Clearly a duty head.
uh, this is
The
established in Brown v. Duty Head. This is
You
a
should look
precedent.
into a pro Zoom account. Just saying. It's got you can like just
Skype
right
works
from
pretty
here.
well.
I had to remember my Skype password and everything, and it wanted me to use Microsoft Authenticator on my phone. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel it's
I,
not for everybody, but also like it just records like straight to my desktop too, so I don't have to like download it or do anything else,
mhm.
which helps me because I'm lazy.
Yeah, I mean, with a little extra effort, I probably could have done that. And then,
This was just a battle of which one of you was going to be lazier. It was
Tommy always wins that
I
battle
was.
every time.
Woo! I told Lou,
You're
what
the
did I like
victor.
right now? I can smell my own balls right now. That's how I've gotten to the point now where I can only tell that I haven't showered when I start being able to smell myself.
that is I, I
Yeah.
mean,
The other day I was working and I was like, I keep smelling feet. And then I smelled myself and it wasn't my feet. It was my entire body smelled like foot. And I'm like, I need to go burn this.
Uh,
just throw the whole body away, get a new one.
And then I gripe at Lou if she takes my clothes and puts them in the washing machine. I'm like, oh, what am I gonna wear then, Lou? I was wearing that hoodie for a week.
yeah. Dude, I've worn this shirt like way too many times. Like,
Yeah, like this shirt just been crafting. It's got stains all over it. I really should.
Just
Like
been
that.
marinating in that bad boy.
I don't know what that could be. Crab dip, could be me dip. Who knows?
I made the mistake of washing some of Cam's clothes one time, and I'm reckless with my laundry, like all the colors and everything. It's all together, and then it all goes in the dryer. I don't even read the directions. And I shrunk two of his shirts, and he got so upset. He was like, "Don't touch my laundry." I was like, "Fine, I promise for the rest of my life, I will never touch your laundry, never again." And that's how you get out of chores, people.
That's like
That's
the
some
riddle of
Sun
the
Tzu.
Sphinx. You're like, no, what have I done?
That's like a monkey paw or whatever they call it. You make a wish and it like backfires on you though.
So what do you got?
Tommy,
What,
you
go
seem
ahead,
like
go.
you craft a lot of stuff. How'd you get into
Okay.
crafting?
I remember my parents gave me a screwdriver once. My dad showed me how screws work. And since then, as a kid, I took everything apart. And I would never put
Really?
it back together. I just took it all apart. And I'd take my Transformer toys apart and I'd put them together using wax. Remember those Nicolips? Those Licolip? It's very hard. It's very, the little wax bottles that have juice in them that look like soda.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know that candy?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're called Licka.
And they had the disgusting wax on the outside.
Yes. I would just chew that wax into a big ball, and then I had a big ball of wax, and would put new toys together with wax holding them together. And go, you guys will come over and play with my toys I put together with stuff from my mouth.
You just invented disgusting Legos.
Yeah.
That's all that is. It's just
But I would just make a bunch of stuff, and I've always made stuff. And then if I want to make something but I don't know how, I get obsessed with it, and then I just learn as much as I can about it, and then I build it. Like my guitar that I built, I had to learn how electric guitars work and how pickups work,
pickups
and then
shit.
how the potentiometers what they do. And then I took like a $40 junk guitar body, and I routed out the body so that I could put a speaker, a battery case, and an onboard amplifier in it, so that I don't need an amp for my electric guitar. I can just turn it on and then,
And
let me go
play.
get it.
That's so cool.
Can I go
Yes,
get it?
please
Okay.
do.
No. This is why we can't have him be the host, dog. He has too much power.
He has too much power.
No one man should have all that power. So that's Kanye West. I know you don't listen to rap music, but
I listen to some.
Who's your
You know,
favorite rapper, Megan?
that Iggy Azalea is really talented.
Dude, I mean, she's in everyone's top 10. I mean, it goes Biggie, Nas, Iggy fucking Azalea. That's the Mount Rushmore right there, dog.
Don't mess
I
with the greats.
loved Iggy Azalea. That song, what was it called?
Fancy.
Fancy. That was a good
Mhm.
jam.
I'm so fancy.
It's gonna be stuck in all of our heads now.
In the
Tommy, that is
festival.
awesome that you like learning all about things so that you can do them. I hate having to learn how to do something. I want to
I
just
only
be
like to
good
learn
at
it
it
if it's
immediately.
for something that I like. Okay, so here is my guitar.
Oh,
That's
that's
so
so badass.
cool.
This one, yeah. And then you see,
Play us a tasty link.
play
Ooh,
a
I
tasty
love
lick.
that. Is
Yeah,
it like an octopus up there?
There, that's my Cthulhu, but that's a speaker cover, like a grill.
Oh, that's
And
that
then
is
I
so
made
cool.
this pick holder, and then the all leather body. But then if you turn it on, make sure it's then.
God damn.
Yeah, so then you can do stuff like. Yeah,
that is
so
so cool. You made that like totally from scratch,
yeah,
totally by
from scratch. Matter
yourself.
of fact, this part right here, I had when I got all my when I knew what I wanted to do and I bought all my parts, I had to send away to a company that sent me a wiring diagram of how to put it all together to do what I wanted it to do. And then I took that and then had to um, dimension everything to make sure I had the parts the right size. And I do AutoCAD for work, like computer aided design and stuff.
Hmm.
And so I built all my parts in the computer so that I could move them around and find what shape everything would take. And then that's how I built the control panel, which I had laser cut out of gold, mirrored gold acrylic. And then I had to do I designed the leather pick guard over top of it that would hold everything in place. And yeah, so I only learned stuff that I want to know how to do. Like there's parts of my work that are like, you need to learn to do this. I'm like, oh, I gotta be honest with you, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna keep doing what I do.
I'm bad at even like stuff that I want to know how to do. I get very like frustrated when I have to like learn a new thing. I'm somebody who just like dives into stuff and just like tries to figure it out as they go, which is like not the way to do most things. But I like if I have to sit and figure something out and do the research first, like I really want to write a screenplay, but I don't know how to format a screenplay, and that's why I haven't written one, is because I haven't learned how to format it. And it just holds me back and it's terrible, but that's like how my brain works. So that is tasteful what you got going on there.
Oh wait, hold on, that's the wrong one. Videos. Hold on. Hey boys, how are you? Oh shoot, there we go.
Not,
Hold on.
not now, boys. I told you I was busy. Daddy's
This.
busy.
Where's the virtual background? No, that's not it. God, you guys, these bits are not working. There we go.
I'm horrified.
Look, it's like I'm back working at Magoobies.
Oh my god. Did they put her head on like a bunch of muscly dudes too?
All they did was just color correct all of those dudes
Whoa,
and then
whoa,
just
whoa,
put the
whoa!
girl's
Color
head.
correct? Okay,
Yeah,
come
to
on,
make them not
dog.
weird. And then
God damn.
no, it's color in Photoshop. It's called color correction. That's the name of the technique. They just happen to be using it for Aryan purposes. Check out the hog on this girl.
Dude, I just watched. Speaking of that, I just watched. Have you guys seen Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
That movie was so sad, dude.
It was sad.
Sad.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be funny.
Because the Germans lost. I was like,
Spoiler alert.
It's one of those. Hey, you want to see the guy? You can't see his face. That's the guy that ate Josie's ass and when she had strep in it.
Oh my god.
are you serious?
Yeah, and then I got John B. for Pee Wee's Playhouse. Some scary ass Michael Jackson thing. I have Brian Preston's apartment.
Dude, that Brian Preston, I think someone has to be able to do a really funny impression of that guy.
Are you pimping me? Are you putting me
Huh?
on the spot to do my Brian
I'm not
impression?
saying that. I just
Do you
think
have one?
every time I've listened to him.
Okay. The thing is, okay. So here's the thing.
Oh my god.
Brian, when we were doing the podcast, every now and then I would do my Brian impression, and then Jim Meyer, when he was on the podcast, would do his and made Brian sound like a Muppet. He'd be like, "Hey everybody, it's me, Brian."
I can't do impressions for shit, and I wish that I could.
Can you sing?
Yeah.
Then you should be able to do impressions.
I don't follow that logic. Can you explain?
Because if you're able to change your voice to hit different notes and everything, then
that makes sense.
There's a correlation. I think that it's there. You just haven't put it. You know who I'm working on an impression of? That one actor from he's been in a lot of BBC comedies, and now he's on What We Do in the Shadows.
Taika Waititi?
No. Cast of What We Do in the Shadows. Matt Berry. You know who Matt Berry is?
Let me look up a picture.
Matt Berry.
Dude, he's also on a really hilarious show called
The IT Crowd?
Garth Marenghi's
Dark Place,
which I show to people that no one knows about, which is one of the funniest shows.
Oh, it was hysterical. And then he's also on he stars in one on Netflix called Toast of London, where he plays an actor, Stephen Toast.
Okay.
And it is God, it's so fucking funny. There's this guy, Matt, what's the guy's name? Matt Purchase or something. He doesn't like him, and he's been fucking this guy's wife. The entire show, he's fucking this guy's wife behind his back. And they make some celebrity paper football tournament, and he puts on the line. He was like, "All right, if I win, I get to fuck your wife. You have to watch me." And he wins, and at the very end scene, he's in one of those fucking Clockwork Orange chairs with his eyes all open.
My god!
Oh, Matt Berry is fucking his wife.
He does have a very impressionable voice. He talks like Shakespearean projecting actor all the time.
And he draws out. Lou has the same vocal pattern where she will draw out the last part of a word. She'll be like, "I don't want to go shopping." Like, sort of like, and she doesn't know she does it, but it wasn't until I started trying to do a Matt Berry that getting there. It's not ready yet. Have you guys been watching What We Do in the Shadows on?
I watched the movie.
I watched
a while
the movie.
ago.
Yeah.
The series, the first season took a while to get its legs, but second season is fucking
It's
nailed.
good.
It's so good.
I've just been watching so much Chopped. It's just I'm
you like
in
to
one
cook?
of those. I do.
Okay,
And
what's your favorite dish? If you had to impress people, let's say the president or someone you like was coming over to get a meal, what would you make for him?
Ham, get out. My boyfriend's coming over and I have to impress him with this meal. That's a good question. So
Mac and cheese.
I would stick with like a pasta or something easy, like shrimp scampi or like
So that's your showstopper, is you're gonna make shrimp scampi. I'm gonna make mac and cheese and throw shrimp and raisins in this bitch. Y'all ain't never had this.
I like cooking because I like playing with it. Like I like seasoning stuff myself, but I'm not like elaborate with it. Like I can't make cool things. I can just like do basic stuff really well.
Like you make a good ham and cheese sandwich.
I make the best grilled cheese.
Okay.
That's
Do you put tomato on it?
No, but I put Italian seasoning and garlic butter on the outside of it, and if I have it, I'll do mozzarella cheese on the inside of it too. So it's kind of like a cheese
I can test
bread.
I can test that point because me and one of my good friends actually have a competition every year where we each make 3 grilled cheeses and have them like people judge like who made the best grilled cheese.
Oh, I would like to jump in on this because I'm gonna beat all
Dark
of you.
horse. A new challenger has
Yeah, if you want
awakened.
to, hey, if you want to throw your what do you put on your grilled cheese? Probably like American cheese and
No,
like
ew. American
Italian.
cheese
I
What
put
kind
shouldn't
of bread
even
you use?
Italian
exist.
Pita?
seasoning on my grill. You probably don't even make your own Italian seasoning.
It's just oregano and basil, you weirdo.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I didn't
I'm
know that
like,
either.
yeah, you don't know Italian. I put Old Bay on everything. It doesn't.
Oh, dude, I just
Yeah.
started putting Old Bay on my mac and cheese, and oh my
Oh,
god, I feel like such a fucking idiot. I feel like I've done my entire life wrong.
you know what? I'm telling you, next time you have a scoop of vanilla ice cream, little dash of Old Bay on it.
No,
I know it
no,
sounds weird.
no.
I know it sounds
Oh, come
weird.
on, dog. Are you one of those
Just
people that
try
puts
it. I
that's like an
do.
Old Bay freak? Where you
I
fucking
am.
do lines of Old Bay when you wake up in the morning or whatever?
Well, as a baby, my mom was having a hard time breastfeeding until she put Old Bay on her nipple, and I was like, no, 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 and I was like, thanks, mom, this is great. Off to college.
I
I
one
was
time had like an Old Bay ice cream. It was like at a local brewery and it was very much like Old Bay covered and it was it's like I could see how a little bit is good
a
because it
little
was
bit.
really
Yeah, don't go
interesting.
crazy.
No, this one was like Old Bay with a little bit of vanilla in it.
The dumbest thing people used to do, especially back in high school, was they get Natty Boh, which is like I get it, it's like a local beer, but it's like disgusting. And then they put like Old Bay around the rim of it and call it a Bow-tini. And
Oh, that sounds fancy.
no, it's horrible. It's
I
like your
like.
I'd be into it.
We
Natty
used to go
Boh
to
and like
these.
Old Bay wings goes together, but like drinking beer with Old Bay in it is just
Flying Dog has an Old Bay beer, I think.
yeah,
We used to
flying
take
dog.
Old Bay. I mean, we used to take Bud Light and then mix it with lemon Gatorade and call it Gator beer, and that was
God.
actually pretty good.
What
But
was
yeah,
your No, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. No,
Uh
yeah, no,
what
you.
what was your guys's like when you first started drinking? What was the cheap ass thing that you used to get drunk when you were like
Roll
Rolling
Rock,
Rock?
baby.
That's a solid choice.
Um,
I was a
our
Milwaukee Best Beast Ice, as we called it.
TGI Fridays orange dreamsicle just on the rocks. I wouldn't crush. I mean, we'd be at a party. Didn't have access to a like if we're in a parking lot. I don't have access to a fucking blender to make crushed
Yeah.
ice. But I would just drink orange creamsicle. That or like Boone's Farm,
Oh, like the wine.
or what was it? Strawberry Hill. Strawberry Hill Boone's Farm tasted like strawberry daiquiri. I was never a big beer person. I'm still not a big beer. I guess that's
You
why
were
I like
fancy.
I like Natty Boh because it doesn't have a flavor. It's
I
just
was
like drinking.
also watermelon burnett's.
Mm.
Dude, I've been getting into my roommate got me on this just because it's so cheap. Is I now drink like that one night for that show when I got really fucked up. I drank
Blacked out during my show, Tommy, is what he did. I ran one singular Zoom show, which I said I wouldn't do, and I got like 40 people in it, and this man blacks out.
Supposedly I did okay from what people tell me.
You did fine.
I did fine. Yeah, I probably did it comedy blackout drunk better than anybody you know. Okay, let's be honest. I'm probably the best comedian at
I don't
doing
know.
that.
Have you seen Wendy Townsend? She is so good at just getting drunk.
Really,
She
I
does. She
gotta
does well.
talk to her because she can be like my role model. Like she can be like, hey, drink
Yes.
drink vodka. Don't drink whiskey. Drink vodka if you're gonna do crowd work. Okay, you know what I
I don't
mean?
like to get drunk before I go. Before I do. I don't like to drink. I don't smoke. I don't do. I have to go up sharp.
I definitely can't smoke before I get on stage. Otherwise, I just like I will get scared or I will overthink myself if I'm up there in that kind of space. Like people who like get super high before they go on stage, I'm like, you
Yeah.
fear no man.
How the
Like,
fuck do that's not how my brain works. Because if I get super high, I gotta build stuff. I gotta go and like, hey, I can make this table into a guitar or something. That'd be pretty cool.
I've
Like I
been
can't.
I've been so into getting high and hiking around the woods and just like looking at plants with the curiosity of a baby.
Mm,
Like my friend has a lot of experience with like biology and stuff, so I've been hiking with him and
mm.
I've been like, moss is cool, and then he'll just tell me like everything there is to know about moss. It's it's great for the mental health, but like yeah.
Moss is.
Well,
You should do
Megan knows.
mushrooms and do it.
So I freaked myself out with that because I was like, imagine like if we were tripping in here and it was just us and like we got lost in here. And then I started thinking about like a short, scary movie I could make about two people who are like, let's go trip in the woods, and then just get lost in the middle of the woods, and like just like the overwhelming like sensory changes when you start to
Mhm.
get scared on a trip, like how everything turns and like the wind through the leaves gets like really intense.
We
So
used to, back when I LARPed, we would do humble brag.
hold
We
on, Tommy. Let me go change
Yeah,
my panties real
change
quick.
your diva. Go put your diva cup on. This is gonna be a slosher.
The gusher. Shout out Dan Crab.
But
Oh,
we
how's Dan Crab doing? Anyone talk to Dan Crab?
mm-mm.
Okay, never
Is he all
mind. Go
right?
ahead.
He got brought up the other day. Trying to think how. I
He
remember.
lived a good life.
He lived a
R.I.P.
good
Yo.
life.
Crab's got corona.
Dude,
Everybody know that.
he's a little bit unlucky. I wouldn't be surprised if he got coronavirus and he like couldn't breathe anymore or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know any comics that have gotten corona yet.
Because our immune systems are so good. Because we're just around
Mhm,
dirty, terrible people all the time.
mhm,
That
Putting our
don't.
mouths on each other.
Yeah.
mhm. But when I used to LARP, we would do the weekends would be called campouts if it was a weekend adventure, and that's when it's more like Dungeons and Dragons, where you have abilities and whatever. But so we'd fight all day, and then at night we'd go back. We'd take a whore bath using like wet wipes just to get clean.
Mm.
We put on our
Whore
best
bath.
outfits, and then just do a handful of mushrooms and walk off into the woods in like the middle of West Virginia. And me and my buddy once, we were tripping and we saw this tree that like a moonbeam was breaking through the canopy of the forest and like lighting this, just hit this tree. And it looked like the sexiest fucking tree I've ever seen. It looked like this woman like standing like a Greek goddess, like and we were like, what? And I was like, dude, are you seeing this? He was like, you mean this sexy fucking tree? And it wasn't until like we got up to like touch it, assault it, and when it just turned into leaves in our hands, and we're like, oh, just like a
Oh
real
my
woman.
So like I was even thinking like during the day I could freak myself out tripping in the woods, but at night I would be so scared tripping in the woods. Like
But we were wearing armor, and I mean, we were all right.
I mean, I guess also if you were in like a group of people as opposed to
uh,
just like two people, I don't know. I am not that at one with nature yet. We're getting there. We're acquaintances turning into friends. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to push it. We're just not at that level yet.
Oh, okay, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
my favorite Tommy Sinbazo story that you've ever told, that I think is one of the funniest stories I've ever heard, is basically that you guys, before you like LARPed, so you could like fuck people up more, you like did steroids or something like that, so you could just like shield bash people even
Yeah,
harder.
my buddy and I, we would go to the gym 6 days a week for at least 2 or 3 hours, and we found this NFL linebacker workout routine that we would do at Gold's Gym. And and we were doing testosterone enhancers and
Yeah.
like animal stack, which is like pill package you had to take every day to increase testosterone, and it had a mood stabilizer in it so you wouldn't fucking lose your shit. It had a DHT blocker to just keep the hair from exploding out of your head. And our sole purpose for exercising was just so that on weekends when we LARPed, we could just beat the living piss out of people.
Which I just imagine they're just like 15-year-old kids there that are really nerdy. They don't have much social interaction. And Tommy Sambazo just gets like a whole bunch
Charging
of
it.
stars and just goes, "Whoa!" and just fucking knocks them onto their
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
ass. And it gives them I think you told me you gave like a ton of people concussions because you
Yeah,
just
I would give people.
headbutt
We
people.
knocked this one dude out just by running it, just by shield bashing him, like running
Yeah.
into him and hitting into him, and the guy like hit the ground, and we dove on top of him
So are there
to keep
like
him from getting up.
referees? Are there like is there anybody that would
They're
tell you
called.
like, hey, you need to chill out and not
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
kill
yeah,
people?
yeah. And we're like, oh
Okay.
yeah, sure, of course. But I mean, as long as you know the rules, you can't get in trouble because like they'll be like, God, check his sword, God, that fucking hurt. And then there was one time when I hit a guy. And like he just started screaming bloody murder, like fuck, check his sword. And one of the herald came over and like felt my sword. He's like, no, Tommy just hits hard, and just gave it back. And this basically told the guy quit being a pussy.
Oh my God.
But
I didn't.
we had our regular swords, which were like made with like tent poles, like fiberglass tent poles about the size of thickness of a pencil, right?
Oh
That's
my
like your
God.
core. And that you're not really hurting anybody. But we did find these golf flags, these fiberglass golf flags on the side of the road that were about as thick around as your thumb. And
Yeah.
all you had to do was just put a pool noodle onto it. And if you squeezed it, you wouldn't
felt-
feel the core. But that thing weighed like 5 pounds. And we used to call them beaters. And we all had our regular swords and we had our beaters. And if there was a team that wasn't taking their hits, like, was cheating, we'd be like, all right, let's switch to beaters. And you'd switch to your beaters and just beat the fuck out of people. Like where you're bruising them. Like,
Oh my
I was
God.
thinking about this one time. During a camp out, there was one, it was when you're at a camp out, it's like D&D. You have abilities, you have everything, blah blah blah. Well, we would play a drinking game where we keep a beer in our like either holding a beer or put it in your pouch, and every time you died, where you had to take like a 5-minute break, you would just you'd have to slam a beer.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
we got to a point where we were drunk as fuck, and at the end of the day, they were running this module, which is like a dungeon that you had to go
Yeah.
through. So the people running it had people that were specified, okay, you're this type of monster, you have these abilities, blah, blah, blah. And like they put up tarps so you couldn't see the next area. And we made our way through there by just beating the living piss out of everybody. And we get to the final thing, and there were 4 people there, and this one was supposed to be this powerful witch or whatever. And she's
Yeah.
like, bow! And before she even got like her monologue out, we were fucking charging at her. And she threw a spell ball at me. She was like, ah, and threw it, and full speed. I just kind of sidestepped it and came back in, and fucking, I hit her so hard with the beat. Like I came in and came up into her stomach, just bah, like to kill her. And as soon as it hit her, you heard, and she just dropped on the ground. And then we mopped up the other 3, and she's on the ground like, check his sword, check his sword. And we're like, hooray! The village is saved. We did it.
I had no idea that LARPing was this high intensity.
It's not anymore. Like when I was doing it, that's what it was. It was just you get kicked. There, you get kicked. Your shield gets kicked. It goes in your nose is bleeding. The guy's like, hey, we can stop. Like, let's finish the fight, and then but now it's gotten to a point where it fun for everyone is more the thing where
Instead of if you die, you die in fucking
Yeah.
LARPing.
this is more where it's like, okay, hey, too hard. You're like, sorry, I'm so sorry.
Instead of you big meatballs just jacking it up all day and then charging
I just
into these
imagine
little-
you're
it
gonna
was
be
based,
like,
we were nerd bullies is what it was. It was a whole crew of nerds that were just
what a
bullying other
subgenre.
nerds. Yeah.
I'm
So,
sure everyone wanted you guys on their team though.
Yeah, if you're like, hey,
You've never
I
seen
hired Exilium. Or there would be times when we would, a big group would meet up and be like, all right, instead of all of us fighting, you send your champion and we'll send ours. And then my team would be like, we send Tommy. And then they'd be like, fuck. All right. And then they sent this tall, lanky kid who he was like, by the way, he's a skeleton. I'm like, he will be. And when you shield bash someone, you're always supposed to make sure that it's a safe shield bash. No more than 3 steps before you hit, and make sure there's nothing behind them. But I would specifically keep going around them so they would have to move till there was a tree right behind them. And
Oh my
then
God.
shield bash, and they'd hit the tree and then hit the ground, and then you can and then they're dead.
Dude.
Look,
there
I worked
could
through
be
a lot of
movie-
shit.
There could
I
be a
didn't like
movie
the
made
person
about-
that made me. I don't do it anymore. But
there definitely could be a movie made about, or like a Vice documentary. This sounds like a Vice documentary, like meet the LARPers who work
there is-
out every day. And
there's one called
Steroids.
Darkon. There's a movie, this independent film called Darkon, which came on IFC. And we had actually left that gaming system to go play a different game while this documentary was being made. But it goes into the lives of separate LARPers and everything. And I remember watching it once, and they spotlighted on the girl, on this one woman that LARPed. I was like, she gave me a blowjob. Like, and so, but it more goes into the role playing aspect, and it doesn't really cover like the fighting, because most people think that like LARPing is like what you see in the 7-Eleven commercial, where it's like, they're like, lightning
I
bolt,
cast
lightning bolt.
firebolt.
Yeah, but it was very full contact. It was like football
Yeah.
without a ball.
It's really just
And then-
beating up nerds and getting your dick sucked
Yeah, I got a couple scars and stuff
from the dick sucking.
from the dick sucker. No teeth.
People like next time someone asks me if I could go back in time, what I'd do, I think I just go back and watch Tommy Sinbazo, rage and fueled, beard up. I'd like get you like super liquored up like right before one of them and just watch you just like kill fucking 16-year-old girls with your shield bash or whatever. And you'd be like, yeah, I lined it up so that there's a chance they fucking die, dude. Fucking awesome.
No, it was good times when because we'd fight hard like all day and then just go back and do mushrooms. And we would when we would go set up our camp, we started putting up plastic walls around, and then we'd have like so you couldn't just walk into our thing. There was like a plastic wall going around our campground.
Oh, that's
and
so cool.
when we got back in and we're like, all right, we're going to take our mushrooms, we would put plastic over the entrance so there was no way to get into our camp.
Yeah.
And then that started even more rumors. Like people would be like, I heard they're just in there doing drugs. And it's like, yeah, but
stop talking about it.
We're doing all of the drugs now.
That would make me feel so much better about tripping in the woods if I had a little fortress around me that nothing could like impede. That would change everything.
I would have just started to like mess with those people, just start like randomly screaming sometimes, just so they like, are they practicing in there?
There's already random screams going on. But then there was this one this other fighting system we did was called the SCA. In the SCA, you wore armor for protection. It meant nothing like you could take more hits. It was just that you didn't get killed.
Yeah.
Because you had to wear a helmet with a full grill. You had to wear a gorget to protect your neck. You had to wear a breastplate, backplate, kidney protection. You had to wear elbow cops to protect your elbows, and gauntlets that protected your wrists. And but they have a thing called Penzig, which is for 2 weeks in the middle of August in a campground in Western Pennsylvania. And over 10,000 people attend and 4,000 people fight. So it's teams of 2,000 versus 2,000.
Oh my God.
And at the beginning of the thing, there's a guy playing a bagpipe. And you ever hear like a bagpipe, like, who invented this? Why is this a thing? Until you're on a battlefield with the adrenaline pumping and you hear, and you're like, fuck yes. Then we're ready to go. And then when they call lay on, they fire a cannon, like, and that starts everything. And you can feel the ground tremble under your feet as 4,000 boots are fucking hitting the ground and stuff as the two sides run together. But and we would fight, we would do that, and then at night the parties were fucking insane because it's 10,000 people. It's like the Ren Fair times million. So there's all these different camps and everything, and these people have been doing this for years. And there's a storage facility at the end of the road that goes in, and they just store all their camp stuff there. So there was full-size pirate ships like in the middle of the woods that to get into the camp, you had to walk up the gangplank across the boat and then down into the yard. There was full stone facades that looked like ancient churches with stained glass windows and stuff. And these were the gates of people's things. And so you're just walking down and everybody's wearing like, garb and everything. And people just come up to you and be like, hey man, drink this. And it's just a jug. And you're like, okay, cool. Thank you. And then somebody like, hey, smoke this. And you're like, that tasted weird. It's opium. Like, just fucking crazy
just
thing.
Coachella for nerds.
Yeah, it was. We would have a lot of fucking fun.
Do they still do it?
They do it. I don't.
We should go.
I don't think it's going on this year. Unless it's truly authentic. You're like, bring out your dead. But I'll tell you one story about that. We were partying once, and the campground is 2 miles long. Okay. We were basically at the top end of it, and all the cool parties were at the other end. So we had to hike 2 miles to get, which isn't bad, but
it's a good bit.
Yeah, but especially when you're drunk as shit. Because I was coming back drunk as fuck because we went to this one camp. We were looking for another camp, and as we walked in, the people were like, "Oh, for good fortune has smiled upon you, sir. For it is our annual testing of our goobly." And we're like, "What's goobly?" And he was like, "It's this drink we make." And we're like, "Yeah, sure, I'll have some." And they brought out these gallon jugs, and we're standing in a circle drinking it, and it tasted like gummy bears. And I was like, "God, this is good as shit." So it's going around, and we killed one. And then they were like, "We have more," and bring out more goobly. And my one friend was like, "Hey, this reminds me of this time where this girl had me drinking this drink." And and then told me that it had Everclear in it. And we're all like, ha, and the guy's like, oh yes, this is Everclear. And we're like, no. So we're trying to walk 2 miles back uphill to get to our camp, and I'm fucking drunk as shit. And in front of me on the road, there was a water bottle. I was so thirsty, and there was this water bottle just in the middle of the road with, I swear, like a fucking spotlight on it. And you could see like the condensation just coming down at the side, and I was like, oh shit, I need that water. So I walked up to it, and just as I had it in my hand, it went whoop and got pulled up into the air. And I look up, and there was a guy sitting on top of a wall with a fishing line and a fucking flashlight, and he was like, "Hey, I got another one."
Yes.
That's so mean.
Yeah, it was.
That's so fun. I had no idea that like such a thing even existed.
Yeah, it's a whole different subculture.
That's so cool. And I love that like that subculture that is like touted as being like for nerds and babies, like parties fucking hard.
Oh yeah. We went to, but it's definitely separated into different types of parties. The parties that we went to were like more debauchery based.
Yeah.
But if you went to like the eastern end of the campgrounds, their parties were these where they're wearing like medieval refinements, and they're doing ball gown dances and stuff, and they have like banquets. And we stopped in there once on our way to find this other party, and that was the year I made a bong that snapped in. I was wearing a harness, and it had 2 bubble chambers that snapped onto the back of the harness under my cape, and 2 tubes that came down to a gauntlet. So there was one spot you could screw a bowl into, and the other end had like you could do a hitter. So if you screw the bowl in and you hit the hitter, it would bubble through the 2 tanks on the back, and then so it was a double bubbled bong on my arm.
That's so crazy.
And it made me a rock star.
Yeah.
But one of the spots we went to was this high-end frilly party, and people were like, oh, what contraption dost thou wear? And I'm like, it's a bong. Like, you should go. They're gonna call the police.
Now I'm gonna make a guess, Tommy. Most of these people are black, right? Or
heavy Chinese.
Chinese.
A lot of Asians.
This sounds like the definition of like white people shit. You know what I mean?
It's the whitest of white people. Matt, when you see, it's definitely one of those things where you see a black person there, and you're like, what's going on with this? What's your problem? But I mean, that was like when I first started. But then right towards the end is when I was getting out of it. It was a lot more inclusive. Like you'd see a lot more women were on the field, a lot more people of color and everything. So it had gotten to a more generally accepted in the nerd community.
And that's when you decided you didn't want to do it anymore.
And I was like, what? Yes, because I don't like to beat on women or people of color.
Oh.
No, that's fucking racist, dog.
Should be beating everybody.
You're a fucking sexist pig. Tommy Sinbazo.
No, I will say that there was this one girl that would fight. Her name was Avne. And Avne, if you gave her quarter, like if you took it easy on her, she would fucking beat your ass.
Really?
So the highest form of respect that I could have for Avne is not holding anything. And I told her, I was like, look, I respect you as a fighter so much, I'm never going to hold back when I fight. And she was like, okay. And then I would beat the fuck out of her.
Oh, no.
But afterwards, we grab a beer and everything, and she was cool with it. There was one time there was a bridge battle where they put up ropes, and if you and it's your whole army is trying to make it on the other side of this bridge, and one army's trying to stop you from coming over. And if you step over the rope, you've fallen off the bridge, and you have to go down, right? Or you have to go back and respawn. And
you have to go down on somebody right then and there. You can't play anymore.
So I'm sucking these dicks. But so Avne she positioned herself right in the middle of the bridge where where her army line was, and was down. She was on her knees, and people would come in, and she was just beating people in the dick, just purposefully aiming for dicks. Like 5 or 6 guys would come over and be like, God, fucking Avne just hit me right in the dick. So I was like, all right, I'll go take care of Avne. And so I got up on the front line, and I saw her, and I just ran and jumped in the air with my shield and just smushed her. And she was like, oh, my legs. And then after, she was like, yeah, it was real cool that you crushed my legs. I was like, yeah, it was about as cool as you beating the dicks of every guy that came up there. All right, you got me.
Oh, I could listen to these for hours. You should just tell your kids you're like actually fighting in a war, though.
Yeah, back when I was fighting trolls.
They said choose your champion, and it was this lady who kept beating people in the dicks.
The
She was
Dickmeister.
she was terrorizing the whole town. But
Whole
you're all
villages were
grandpappy.
I'm gonna put that lady in my fucking next D&D campaign.
Avne the Dick
The
Smasher.
Dick Smasher. Yeah.
What a
That's gonna be one
feminist
of her.
icon.
Yeah, there you go.
We did have what was that one? Did I tell you what? That I killed a Hydra, and by Hydra I mean a small shirtless boy that they because
Did you
again
actually
we were
kill him?
well in the game I killed him.
Yeah.
Now one of my best friends, she's dating him, and it's kind of okay. So let me tell you what we did to this kid. So there was this kid in this one team. We used to call him Hero. Like behind his back, we'd call him Hero because he was always like striking these poses like like okay, none of that works. You know, you look stupid. And he would fight without a shirt on, and he would maybe he was like 16. But like, you know, skinny little body. And we our team of 6 come around this corner on a trail, and this other team of 6 come up, and we're like, hey, do you guys want to fight?
Yeah.
And they were like, look, one of the other guys that we knew on the other team was like, hey, look, you guys don't want to fight us. This guy's a Hydra. And we're like, what does that even mean? He was like, he's a 7-headed dragon that if he hits your shield, he can destroy it. And I was like, okay, we want to fight you guys. So as soon as that, so we lined up, and I lined up against the Hydra. And I came in and I was fighting, you know, kind of seeing what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he took one swing and hit my shield. And he was like, shield destroyed. So I had to throw my shield down, and I backed up. I was like, fuck. And then a buddy of mine moved in to go fight him. And so I was like, fuck it. And because I was like, he's a fucking little kid. So I just ran and I shoved him. And he fell back without wearing a shirt and landed on this rock pile that was jutting out. And he was like, and and then I dove on top of him and held him down and just beat him until he said he was dead. And then he's like, oh fuck, oh god, oh. And then like that night at pit fights, which they have tournaments at night, like lit by lanterns in this one thing. I saw him, and his ribs were all bandaged up because apparently his ribs got all fucked up from hitting the rocks.
Oh my god.
Now, side story. Our group, we pretended to be cultists, okay, and we would praise Paul Mason of like the wine.
Yeah.
But we called him Paul Mason, and it was right around the time that like all those what's that karate guy, Chuck Norris, all those Chuck Norris jokes, like right towards the end of that Chuck Norris meme, we just started making up all these stories about Paul Mason telling a Chuck Norris meme. And we would sit around our campfire and pass out these big mugs or bottles of Paul Mason. And you'd have to be like, Paul Mason once prophesied his own coming by saying, I'm coming, and then he came. And like then you'd have to take a drink and you pass it on to the next person. And the rule was, if you killed the bottle, you had to take it into the woods and fuck it. You had to put your dick in like a couple pumps. So we were passing around this jug of Paul Mason wine, and my friend.
Wait,
Carolyn,
but wouldn't that bottle be way too big?
Yeah, you just rattle. I mean, I don't know about you. Me, it's kind of tight. You're probably right. No, but yeah, it was just symbolic. Yeah. So, but we were passing around this jug, and it got to my friend Carolyn, and she took the last sip. So we were like, rules are rules, Carolyn. You got to take that bottle into the woods and fuck it. She was like, all right. So she goes into the woods and comes back. And now if you held the jar up to the firelight, you can see like this milky kind of film along the top of it. And I was like, I got an idea, boys. And we filled it with hypnotic. Like we filled it halfway full with hypnotic liquor, and then took it down to pit fights, and we're getting people to drink out of it. And so now we're at pit fights with our jug of pussy hypnotic, and I see Hero. I see the kid and his ribs are all bandaged up, and I was like, hey, give me that bottle. So they gave me the bottle. I went up. I was like, hey, man, look, I'm real sorry about how things went down. I was playing too rough. And he was like, no, it's all cool. I was like, you care for a drink? And he was like, all right, cool. Thanks, man. And fucking he's chugging it. And I'm like, but now many years later, they've been dating and they're living together, Carolyn and this guy. So I
Does he
wonder if
still
like
have
the
7
first time it
heads?
went down on him,
He was like, wait a second.
familiar.
Those
Uh,
bastards.
Your pussy tastes like hypnotic. Yeah. There we go.
This is, I don't, I just don't even, I don't have words. This, it's just reminding me of this story that somebody told me that he had a friend who, when women would stay over at his house, he had one toothbrush that he offered all women who stayed at his house.
Oh.
He'd be like, oh, do you need a toothbrush? Here you go. And not out of any like malicious, but just he was like, yeah, it's the toothbrush that I offer the women who come here. I just, why are you guys this way?
Yeah,
Because it's funny.
it's a good bit.
Oh man, I don't. I'm speechless. I don't have anything even comparable to that. And now I'm just like wondering, growing up, I'm like, did the boys that I was friends with do this kind of shit to me and I just never told me? Like,
Maybe.
how many
I mean,
gross...
we didn't do that to girl. Did we do it to a girl? I don't think we got any girls. It was just guys.
I just like don't think girls do that kind of stuff to each other. I'm trying to think of like pranks that like my girlfriends and I would play on each other when I was younger.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you guys say, "Hey, do you want a Bloody Mary?" And she comes back in, you drink it, and find a tampon at the bottom of it, like, gotcha, bitch.
The only thing that I kind of had happen with that is my one friend used to make like pot brownies, which I didn't eat because I wasn't like super into marijuana. But so he one time he was real weird. So he like jerked off in them and like gave them to everybody, and then he got really high and forgot that he had jerked off into them, so he ate one or whatever.
God.
He like pranked himself almost.
I love that. That's the type of shit.
And then, like, and this is the weirdest part, he told us all. Like, I would have just kept my mouth shut about it, you know what I mean? But he's like, fuck, did I just eat one of those brownies? I jerked off to it. Like, and we're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I would have had to tell people.
If I jerked off in the brownies, one, I would totally eat one just to make everyone else feel better and I would be like, no, they're fine. I didn't look. I'll eat one.
They taste like pineapple.
Delicious. And then they do it like, well, and I'm like, I nutted in those. And like, we got you. Oh well.
I wonder how much cum it would take for it to actually affect the flavor of the brownie.
I mean, I doubt that he was making enough. I mean, how many times did he come?
Like, I have a lot of questions.
If it's just one load, you're not gonna. That's
one load. It seems like a lot, but it's really not like a compared to like how much butter you put into like a batch of brownies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm adding another option instead of spit or swallow. It's gonna be spit, swallow, or bacon to brownies, and I'll eat it later.
I had a big lunch. I couldn't possibly swallow.
These brownies may contain nuts.
Yeah,
can I get a little doggy bag for this? Can I just take this to go with me? I'm a little full now, but I would like.
You pull it out of your mouth and just have it come into a little baggie, like.
Like I am just gonna enjoy this later when I'm laying in bed, like.
Just have a taste.
It's gonna drizzle it all over me.
Yeah. Megan just has like oil, vinegar, and then cum as like her like salad toppings or whatever.
That's the secret ingredient in her grilled cheese.
Yeah, exactly.
Old cum.
Oh.
I'm actually like 37 years old. This is just, it's from all the cum that I consume.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Me too.
Not my boyfriend's though. That would be gross.
Yeah. Dude, don't even bring up that. That's disgusting, Megan. I can't believe you'd bring up something so disgusting, dog.
Please, we're trying to have an adult
like, come
conversation.
On. Now back to that pussy bottle of Hypnotic.
That was my nickname in college.
Like, Hypnotic is the perfect thing for that, too. You know what I mean? Any other liquor wouldn't be as funny. But, like, I'm imagining it's, like, blue Hypnotic.
Oh, yeah. It was blue. It was like this teal blue. They should have known something was up when it was a teal blue liquid in a wine jug.
Yeah.
But they're like, I guess this is how wine is.
Oh, my God.
Well, also, it's just like a 16-year-old kid is just getting, like, fucked up, too. He's probably having a good time.
There are a lot of layers
to the story that we could unpack. What if that was his first drink? His first drink was your fucking pussy bottle of Hypnotic.
And he's been
Honestly,
chasing that dragon ever since.
it
He's
was
like,
a love potion. That's how you get boys
It's
to
a-
fall in love with you. You just shove a beer bottle up there, and then you're like, "Can I buy you a drink?" And then they're madly in love with you.
Well,
That's what voodoo.
if it
That's
was you,
voodoo.
Megan, I actually don't like my beer tasting yeasty, so I wouldn't like that.
What is this? An IPA? It's
People
very
are talking
hoppy.
about their sourdough starters. I am a sourdough starter.
How many people during this quarantine? How many women do you think during the quarantine? Now, worldwide quarantine, there has been at least one that has used her own vaginal yeast to create bread.
So people do it. I've actually looked it up. People kind of like
Is
not
it like a
on the rag,
feminist thing?
not a feminist thing. It's just like a curiosity thing because it is the yeast that is inside of you is the same. Like it's yeast, and you can make bread out of it.
Mhm.
You just
And
have
then
to,
you put garlic butter on it, and then use mozzarella cheese.
and then some Italian seasoning.
Yeah.
That's how you win all the competitions. Is they're like, where'd you get this yeast from? And you're like, don't worry about it.
I'll never. And they're like, "What a delicious, delicious sandwich."
I read because you need a lot of it. So I read how this one woman did it, and it's while she had a yeast infection, she just kept dildoing herself and then like scraping it off. But you need to accumulate a good bit. Good. I'm glad that I upset both of you. Score one for women.
You got me this time, feminist.
You win this round, Graves. You guys just like shriek and shrivel back into your keys.
How'd you know I'm in a cave right now?
Hey,
The beard.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Did I tell you? I won't name names. But there was the local comedian who, right before the pandemic, was going. She had already planned on going to a sex vacation in New Zealand,
Ooh.
and right before she left for her trip, she thought she was there was something wrong. She didn't want to get sick, so she was taking a bunch of zinc, right? Well, apparently poisoned herself with zinc.
Oh my God.
In the hospital, they were like, we think it might be a kidney infection. It might be your gallbladder. They ended up putting her on a bunch of antibiotics. Now, antibiotics, they wipe out your immune system. It's like starting over.
They will give you a yeast infection.
She, right before she left, like got on the airplane, which this is like the whole country started locking down on a Friday, and she left like a Saturday, right? Thought that she had a yeast infection in her asshole, and then was thinking that she, on top of that, also had hemorrhoids. So goes over there, hooks up with her guy. The guy does the old tongue in the bungin'. And then she comes home. Now, and then comes to find out it wasn't a yeast infection and hemorrhoids. It was just strep.
You already named this person earlier in the
You
podcast.
did. You literally said this story earlier.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. We have a video of it.
Well, now they know to go back and listen. They don't know.
That's hilarious.
That sounds so uncomfortable. How did they know how, like just from the antibiotics and stuff,
Just the
something
antibiotic,
weird
right?
happened?
I mean, you can get strep in a bunch of your holes.
Because it just needs somewhere that's like moist. Like I knew a guy who had a yeast infection in his throat one time, and he was like, it was the most painful thing that ever happened.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so watch out for antibiotics, guys. Don't let Bill Gates get you.
Just take a probiotic with it. Take it from
just
somebody who's yeasty like me.
Yeah, just dump in some yogurt.
Just
Make your ass
spatula
look like
some
a
yogurt in
gyro.
there. Like, oh, do you have any lube? No, but I have low-fat plain Greek yogurt.
Yeah, I have a whole bottle of tzatziki. We can just squirt up there.
Let me Roku some cucumbers real quick, and we can get down to business. I make my own icy hot condoms. It's Frank's Red Hot and cucumber.
Vicks Vapor Rub.
Yeah.
I had a horrifying experience. I got a tampon stuck in me kind of recently.
Now, I thought that's how it worked.
No, so what had
like
happened?
What, the string came out? Like, bing!
So what happened is I had a tampon in, and then I forgot that I had a tampon in, and I was trying to be sexy for somebody, and I had, my my sex helper with me, and I was just like pounding that. thing
Oh.
there. It was no, this was it was a toy. It was not. And I was trying to
I
be
was trying to
hot
make
and
a
like,
joke.
go at it with myself. And I was like, oh,
It was
you.
the game Bop It.
But I was like really
Bop it.
trying to
Pull it.
impress him, so I was like pounding that sucker in
Yeah.
there. But I
Huh.
forgot I had a tampon in, so I was just pummeling this little piece of cotton farther up into me. And then the next day I left and I went to a doctor's appointment, and then I realized that I never took my tampon out, and I realized what had happened, and I couldn't get it out myself. So I had to wake him up and be like, "Hi, I need you to help me." And then he had to go in there and in the least sexy way, he like went and sterilized his hands. It was very
It's like,
gynecological.
You're like, wake up! I have a nightmare you need to help me with.
Should
I
have
was
just
like,
told him you had a
"Good
present
morning."
for him in your
Yeah.
vagina.
Was he able to get it out?
He was, but it was like it did not look the same
Just with
anymore.
fingers, or was he like, I got some needle nose in the car? We go
So
get.
just with fingers, but there was a good bit of like maneuvering around in there. Like that
Yeah.
thing was gonna be part of my body.
Oh God.
So that
I like how you shoved it in there like you were like loading a Civil War musket.
just I should have shot it out later.
Quickly, point me at some Confederates.
It just sticks to somebody's forehead. Yeah. So
I'm gonna edit this so that's just the first story too. So it just seems like you just brought that up with no context.
I have been. I'm never gonna listen to this podcast. I hate what I've done with it. I'm not proud of any of this. Anytime I'm on a podcast with Tommy, just the worst stories about myself. I'm like, I want to tell everybody.
Uh,
Yeah. You guys have any fun tampon stories?
I used to. I knew when I played rugby. There's a dude that had like IBS or something. And he had to play with like a tampon up his ass. And there was one time he got hit so hard that the tampon fell out. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Just imagine this dude getting fucking rocked and a tampon falls out from like underneath him or whatever. And everyone's just like, what the fuck just happened?
I hope he got hit and you heard like, as it was like, oh God.
The person behind him is just like, what just hit me?
Yeah. Hold on, is something stuck to me?
Get it off. I don't want to know what it is. Just get it off of me. Oh God.
The only gross stories I have are like wrestling stories. Like people would like, not a lot of like 90, like some people think it's all wrestling, but it's really like the 1.1% of really weird dudes would fucking like not shower and like put disgusting shit on themselves so that when you wrestled them, like you'd smell their armpit and you'd like fucking almost puke.
Oh my God.
There was one dude who we're pretty sure like took like a raw onion and just like rubbed his whole body with like a raw onion, and like the day before, because it didn't smell like fresh raw onion, it smelled like a little bit like rank onion. Does that make sense at all?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all.
I
I
wish
got.
it didn't. Like my gross stories have been unintentional. It's the intentionality of the gross things that I have heard about on this podcast today that just makes me wary of anything that another person hands to me. I'm just like, which orifice did this go
never
in?
trust.
Just remember, it all just strengthens your immune system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it'll give you strep in your butthole.
You can only get strep in your butthole once, though, Megan. It's like chicken pox.
Can it turn into mono?
My mom actually gave me strep in my butthole, like from like another kid that had strep in his butthole, so that I could never get strep in my butthole again. It was like a
your mom was an anti-vaxxer. She believed in herd immunity.
I don't get the anti-vaxxers that believe in like immunology like enough to like get that you won't get it again, but like not enough that they believe in vaccines. You know what I mean? That doesn't like that seems like you'd either not believe in any of it or you'd believe in all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I'll get a vaccine. Who cares?
Tommy,
maybe I'll get powers.
We have kept you here for 2 hours now. So I just wanted to offer you an out if you have, other people
Wait, how
to
long is your
poison.
podcast?
What we normally do, or what I've been doing, is we take the part where it's like just about where we like debate the topics,
Mhm.
and we release that. And then what I'm doing right now is all this stuff we have afterwards. I'm like editing it either into clips or into like standalone episodes. So like
Okay.
like definitely the thing's gonna be like we're gonna put out like the biggest problem, that part, and then there's definitely gonna be a clip like Tommy Sinbazo recounts like
Tommy
LARPing
Sinbazo, abuser of
stories
women.
and teenage
Tommy
children.
Simbazo pummels children, sexually harasses with vaginal fluids.
Oh, I can't wait to be canceled. This is too
I
much
would love
work.
if you got Me Too'd off that fucking hypnotic story. That would be hilarious, dog.
Yeah, if he but it's like he can't complain because he's now dating her. It's
Yeah.
they've been together, so
And
I'm
all
in
the
the
other
clear.
people can't complain because they're unnamed.
Yeah. And I
Dude,
don't
I would love
remember.
if you're just about to get on SNL and then it comes out. Tommy was on a podcast and he.
Oh no, I've been Shane Gillis.
Oh,
No, but actually, I should hop off because I got a couple more. I have other things I got to get to tonight before.
yeah,
Just gotta
for
go look at
sure.
those coffee pots.
I gotta go
look
as
comic
well.
books.
I have to go study because I'm in school still. Isn't that
Ew.
so
Oh,
lame?
what's the
Yeah.
subject?
I'm a computer science major.
Oh, nice.
So,
Nerd.
Well,
yeah, it's
computers are
fucking
just a
nerd shit.
fad, so
Exactly.
good luck getting a job.
I'm able to speak computer. My mom actually got me like a T-shirt for my birthday that was in binary, and she's like, "What's it say?" And I'm like, "Dude, I can't read fucking like not I'm not a computer now. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
can't just read binary or whatever." All right, I think that about does it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, Tommy. It was
Hey, no,
super
not a
fun.
problem, man. Thanks for having me.
We'll have you on again sometime. Also, Megan has talked about doing a roast of herself that I think would be really fun. And I think you should definitely be on the roast if that happens or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I'll make fun of Megan.
It's not hard.
It's Kurt Ryan also said that he definitely wants to do it too.
My birthday is August 7th, so I'm thinking about having people roast me for my birthday because I'm turning 25. I need to cry a little bit.
Yeah, look, see, I was making notes.
Oh, I can't see it. It's just going
I'm
into your
gone!
background.
It just says lost tampon. That's all it's got there.
You're like, I need to hold on to that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna write it down so I'm forgetting it Monday morning when I get back from Japan.
All right, well, I really do have to go. Thank you guys. Good seeing you. Good talking to you. You'll have
Good seeing you guys. Stay safe.
You
We'll
too.
do. We'll do. All right. Peace out.